Rise of British rule in India. Introduction. Since the ancient period, India has enjoyed an incomparable position in the whole world due to its economic, cultural and religious inheritance. Due to the economic prosperity and cultural inheritance, people from different nations of the world came to India. There was a lot of demand for the Indian spices, muslin, silk cloth, indigo, etc. in the European countries. Trade between India and Europe was carried out through land route and sea route, and at the center of these routes was Istanbul or Constantinople in Turkey. After the conquest of Constantinople in 1453 AD by Turkish Muslims, the sea route through Constantinople, that is Istanbul, was closed for the Europeans. Since they could not do without the spices, the Europeans felt compelled to discover a new sea route. So, an era of geographical discoveries began. Sea route to India. With the inspiration, encouragement and economic help from the Portuguese king Prince Henry, some brave people began efforts to discover new sea routes. Many great men tried to discover sea route to India, namely Bartholomew Dias, who discovered the Cape of Good Hope. With the economic assistance from the King of Spain, Christopher Columbus began his adventure of discovering a new sea route, which again came to a stop at an island presently known as West Indies, situated in the Atlantic Ocean. Columbus, who had believed throughout his life that he had discovered a new sea route to India, had actually discovered a new land. Since this clarification was made by Amerigo Vespucci, this new land began to be known as America. The Portuguese sailor Vasco da Gama discovered the sea route to India in 1498 AD. When he reached Calicut in the western coast of India, he was welcomed by the then king Zamorin and allowed to carry out business there. Thus, this is considered as an important event in the world, as this opened the doors for other Europeans to come to India. India. The Portuguese were the first to arrive in India for trade after the discovery of the sea route to India. Within a span of 100 years, the Portuguese took control of several territories like Diu, Daman, Goa, Cochin, Malacca, etc. Inspired by the Portuguese success in trade, the Dutch from Holland and the Danish from Denmark arrived in India for trade. The English traders established the East India Company to carry out trade with India. In 1600 AD, when Queen Elizabeth of England gave the permission to the East India Company to carry out trade with eastern countries, the first ship under the leadership of Captain William Hawkins arrived in Surat. But due to the dominance and oppositions from the Portuguese, they were not allowed to establish their trade there. But finally, the East India Company got the permission from the Mughal Emperor Jahangir, and thus the British East India Company established its first trade centre, Koti, in Surat in 1613 AD. Initially, the company established its trade centres in Surat, Bharuch and Ahmedabad. But due to strong presence of the Marathas in this region, the company sensed danger to its existence and hence moved towards the south and east directions, where they set up their centres in Machilipatnam, Andhra Pradesh, St. George, Chennai, and Fort William, Kolkata. Mumbai became their headquarter in 1687 AD. The French East India Company arrived in India for trade in 1668 AD and eventually set up their trade centres in Mahe, Karaikal, Pondicherry or Puducherry, Chandranagar, Machilipatnam, etc. In the 18th century, the English and the French were constantly busy establishing their rule in the entire world and conquering more territories. Between 1746 and 1763, there were three Mysore wars between the French East India Company and the British East India Company in India, which the French East India Company lost, thus making easy the expansion of the British East India Company. Thus, at the end of this battle for power, the Portuguese were left with Diu, Daman, Goa, while French had their trade centers at Chandranagar, Mahe, Karaikal and Pondicherry. Meanwhile, the Dutch had to leave forever. Siraj-ud-Dowla was ruling over Bengal. Due to his impulsive nature, he had some opponents in his state. During this period, the British East India Company built a fortress around the trade center in Kolkata on pretext of security reasons without taking the permission of the Nawab. But Nawab Siraj-ud-Dowla destroyed the fortress. When this news reached Madras, Chennai, a small army of the company led by Robert Clive reached Bengal in order to help the Kolkata trade center. In spite of the army of the East India Company being strong, they realized that it was not easy to defeat the Nawab's army. So Robert Clive resorted to treachery. A conspiracy was planned in order to defeat the Nawab, in which the Nawab's commander-in-chief Mir Jafar and Seth Amichand were coaxed to join. On the pretext that the Nawab is unnecessarily harassing the people, a war was declared at a ground near a village named Plassey. The Battle of Plassey was fought on 23rd June 1757 AD. The battlefield of Plassey is situated 38 kilometers from Murshidabad, West Bengal. According to the plan, Mir Jafar lost the battle. Siraj-ud-Dowla was defeated. Due to Robert Clive's treachery, the Battle of Plassey ended in just half a day. The company, as a result, got a freehold over the 24 Parganas. Mir Jafar was made the Nawab of Bengal. Thus, the foundation of the company's rule in India was laid with the Battle of Plassey in 1757. The Britishers made Mir Jafar the Nawab of Bengal and under different pretexts tried to extract plenty of wealth from him. Due to their greed to gain more powers, the East India Company managed to dethrone Mir Jafar and made Mir Qasim the Nawab of Bengal. Mir Qasim proved to be more ambitious than Mir Jafar and thus became a threat for the company. Hence, Mir Qasim was removed and Mir Jafar was again made the Nawab. Mir Qasim took refuge with the Nawab of Awadh. During this time, the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam had come to Awadh. So all three of them decided to join hands and fight the company unitedly and thus declared a war. At Buxar, the East India Company fought against the United Army on 22nd October 1764, in which the United Army lost. Thus, the company got the Diwani rights, that is, right to collect revenue to Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. The English government passed a regulating act in 1773 AD, according to which the governor of Bengal was made the Governor General and all the trade and political activities of the company were brought under his direct control. The Mumbai Madras governor and his council were brought under him. Thus, Warren Hastings became the first Governor General of India. During his tenure, the first Maratha War and the second Mysore War with Hyder Ali of Mysore was waged. The problems for the East India Company increased because it had to face both the powers simultaneously. Cornwallis took over as Governor General after Warren Hastings. During the tenure of Cornwallis, the Third Mysore War took place with Tipu Sultan, famously known as the Tiger of Mysore. The company had to join hands with the Marathas and the Nizam to defeat the Tipu Sultan. Tipu could not win against the combined forces and had to accept the treaty. After Cornwallis, Sir John Shore became the Governor General. Due to some rigid policies adopted by him, the East India Company's fame declined and Marathas became stronger. So Governor General Wellesley, who came after John Shore, got the responsibility of making the company supreme in India. For this, Wellesley introduced the subsidiary alliance system. The conditions of the system and the states adopted under this are as follows. Terms and conditions of subsidiary alliance system. The army trained by the East India Company government will be provided to the state that accepts the system. In return, the state accepting the system will provide for the army or give away provinces with equivalent income to the British. Without the permission of the company, the state will not wage war or sign treaty with other states. There will be one English representative in the state assembly, other foreigners not to be employed in the state. The states, rulers who accepted the subsidiary alliance system. The states like Mysore and Awadh accepted the subsidiary alliance system, and the rulers like Nizam, Gaikwad, Scindia, Bhosle and Holkar accepted the subsidiary alliance system. This system was like sweet poison. By implementing this system, Wellesley annexed many provinces and expanded the rule of the East India Company. Governor General Wellesley asked Tipu Sultan to accept the subsidiary alliance system, which he refused. For declining the alliance system, the company, with support from the Nizam, attacked Mysore in 1799. During this Fourth Mysore War, Tipu lost his life while fighting against the British. After Wellesley, Hastings came to India as Governor General. He waged a war with Nepal and made the Gurkhas to join the army. Hastings fought a battle with the Pindaras and took control over them. With the Third Maratha War, the supremacy of the company was established. In comparison to the earlier Governor Generals, William Bentinck is known as a liberal Governor General. Bentinck believed that the dissatisfaction in different states due to the imperialist policy adopted by the previous Governor Generals could not bring about any unity. He was very liberal in his deeds. Dalhousie came to India as the Governor General in 1848. He was a fierce imperialist. Dalhousie adopted the policy of annexation for the expansion of the company and British imperialism in India. Dalhousie's policy of annexation. Under Dalhousie's policy of annexation, Punjab and Pegu, or Lower Burma, were annexed by war. Satara, Jaitpur, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Jhansi, Baghat and Nagpur were annexed due to a king dying without heir. Awadh was annexed on pretext of mismanagement. Nizam's province was annexed on pretext of debt collection. Moreover, Karnataka and Tanjore were annexed to end a namesake rule. Besides being an imperialist, Dalhousie was also a reformist. The railway line in India between Mumbai-Thane, 1853 AD, wireless system between India and England, establishment of public works department, English education, etc., were all introduced during his tenure. He passed laws to ban child marriage and advocated widow remarriage. Within 100 years from the Battle of Plassey in 1757, the British rule and the empire both expanded. But in the process, they had to face the dissatisfaction of the Indian states, and this was manifested in the form of the first struggle for independence in 1857 AD.